Hello, my name is Dr. Mildred Boveda, and I am a special education researcher and university professor. Question: have you noticed the growing use of war rhetoric to describe the state of education today? The current administration, elected officials, and political pundits are increasingly framing education as a battlefield where values, ideologies, and the future of the nation are at stake. This language often paints educators, public schools, and universities as adversaries in a larger cultural or political struggle. For instance, phrases like battle for our children's minds have become more common in political discourse. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis frequently describes diversity, equity, and inclusion programs as part of a woke indoctrination agenda. Commentators like Tucker Carlson and groups like Moms for Liberty characterize schools as brainwashing children. Notice my use of scare quotes, okay? Pay attention to those throughout this video. This rhetoric is not only exaggerated and misinformed, it actively encourages parents to fight back. Where I come from, we call people like that instigators. The claim that public schools are indoctrinating students into Marxism, socialism, or radical leftist ideology is simply unsubstantiated. Yet the consequences of this fear-mongering are real. Many capable teachers are leaving an already difficult profession, creating even more staffing challenges in our schools. University faculty are becoming greater targets of harassment. Let me be clear, and I'm going to say this again. Let me be clear. The people who are under threat, the ones who are under attack right now, are those who are affiliated with educational institutions, and these attacks are coming from multiple directions. There are some conservative university faculty and think tank intellectuals like Rick Hess who lament being marginalized and are calling for an ivory tower of our own. However, as my colleague Dr. Eric Bybee pointed out in a recent interview, virtually all the watchdog lists that surveil, expose, and harass faculty are led by conservative groups. That is, conservative faculty are least likely to be on some of these lists. Militaristic terms like fight, battle, war, defend, and take back. Let me do that again. Fight, battle, war, defend, and take back create a sense of urgency and crisis. This framing pits educators, their professional organizations, and universities as hostile enemies, fueling an us versus them mentality that deepens divisions in our country. These words are intended to mobilize political action, energize voters, and justify sweeping educational reforms and interventions. But are they just rhetoric? For me, the answer is no. Kevin Roberts, the head of the Heritage Foundation and architect of Project 2025, claims that we are in the midst of a second American Revolution, one that will remain bloodless if the left allow it to be. You see, I take threatening words like this very seriously. In response, I suggest that we focus on winning the peace. This means confronting attacks on education with awareness, determination, and intentionality. My colleagues and I have created a reading list to support this effort. You can find the link below. And so there's a lot of links to books and podcasts and news reports that kind of tracks where these attacks have been coming from, and hopefully will give you some clarity about what's going on. Today, in this video, I want to introduce you to three critical terms: edgicide and scholasticide, which these two words refer to the deliberate destruction of educational institutions, systems, and intellectual communities, often during conflicts or under oppressive regimes to suppress societal growth. The other word I need you to know, I would like to introduce to you, and you may already know, but let's review it, is epistemicide, okay? Epistemicide extends this concept to the systematic erasure of entire knowledge systems, particularly those of marginalized or colonized groups, through cultural dominations and colonialism. There have been several epistemicides throughout our history as humans, and those of us, we're still working to recover some of those knowledges that have been lost. And as such, for me, I think we need to take these instigators who are calling on attacks on educators very seriously, and we need to resist these efforts. Our youth need us to fight injustices, not our teachers and not educational institutions. So there are two key takeaways that I hope you remember from this video. First, don't assume it won't happen to you. For years, many of us in universities have watched political efforts to dismantle K-12 public education across the United States. Even as education scholars researched, wrote, and presented on these attacks, we often assumed it would never reach us in our universities. The precious ivory tower, we were safe, we thought. Then when these attacks came to universities in states like Florida and Texas, a lot of us believed that the damage would be contained in those states. Yet here we are. Our vice president has labeled universities and professors as the enemy and called for conservatives to honestly and aggressively attack the universities in this country. This is just the beginning. Second, I would like for you to remember the words of Maya Angelou, who said, when someone tells you who they are, believe them the first time. While it may be very tempting to dismiss those stirring conflict as absurd or exaggerated or egotistical, huffers and puffers, we must not be complacent. Their words are already turning into action, and they're turning into action quickly. So please get informed, gain clarity, and be intentional about protecting the educational opportunities of all of our youth. I never imagined that I would be making YouTube videos. I have kids who are, 19 and 20 something. I watch videos, but I never imagined myself being on one. I'm beginning to see that more and more people are getting their news and their information from this space. And as a scholar and a teacher, if this is where folks are, then here I am too, okay? Thank you so much for watching. If you found this information helpful, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. Share it with your folks who you are trying to convince to kind of, maybe pull back the angry discourse, the fighting discourse. We really need to win the peace. And let me know in the comments where you're watching from. In fact, let me know anything that you think, excuse me, might make these videos better. This is my third one, and I hope that you have found them valuable. I've found it valuable going over these ideas. Again, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. Bye-bye.